watching the Mystical Green Beanie.
Hey, what is going on, dudes and dudettes? I am the Mystical Green Beanie, and in today's episode of Hitting the Books, I'm going to be talking about Jeff Lemire's entire epic run on Moon Knight. And even though this book is only like, 14 issues? I'd say it's epic because it feels epic to me, and probably me alone, because honestly, I don't think many people were reading this book, which, sucks, because it's amazing, and it's one of the better Marvel books coming out at the moment, but I digress. Anyways, first things first, I really should mention that I know very little about Moon Knight. I've read the 6-issue miniseries by Warren Ellis, and he played a major part in one of the Ultimate Spider-Man story arcs, but that's about it. Outside of those two stories, I have no other context for this character, but I don't really think I needed any. So, this comic tells the story of Mark Spector, who is a guy who's dealing with DID and schizophrenia, and has to come to terms with not only who he is, but what is real, and how he can live his life with his condition, while not letting it dictate how he lives his life. And the comic takes all of these really complex ideas and themes, and tackles them in this weird, outside-the-box, goofy comic book fashion. Just like every great comic does. And the thing I love the most about the story is how Mark evolves as a character over the course of these 14 issues. Because when we first meet him, he's very dependent on Khonshu, who is the ancient Egyptian god whom he serves. And Khonshu is not only very belittling of Mark, but he also goes out of his way to tell Mark how useless he is, and why he should just take over Mark's mind and body, because it would be put to better use that way, even though that would effectively kill Mark and all of his other personalities in the process. And while I was reading this, I originally interpreted Khonshu as the physical embodiment of Mark's condition, but actually, I'm starting to think that Khonshu isn't necessarily Mark's schizophrenia or one of his multiple personalities, but much rather, the crippling self-doubt that a person with mental illness feels while going through whatever it is they're going through. And I love how by the end, Mark has fully accepted the fact that he's ill, but is tired of allowing himself to be ruled by his illness. And in doing so, he, alongside his other identities Stephen Grant and Jake Lockley, kill Khonshu, and in doing so, takes control of his life. Something else that really stuck with me about this comic was how, over the course of the series, Mark starts to take control of his personalities. And he does so in a very diplomatic and humane fashion, because even though these other personalities aren't real in the sense that they're physical people, they're still individuals with their own set of memories and rationale based on said memories and experiences. And when Mark finally comes to terms with who he is, and realizes that he is the dominant personality, and that all of the other ones are just living in his head, he brings this to their attention as though they were real people who are a part of his life, and chooses to live his life with them as they join him on his road to self-rediscovery in a life without Khonshu, instead of simply letting them go. Because while he realizes that they are a symptom of his mental illness, he recognizes that they aren't the problem, and they shouldn't be treated as such. Another thing that I thought was simply fantastic was how he traveled to the Other Void, which is where Khonshu and his people are from, while also exploring the different yet familiar locations that Mark's other personalities are living in, and how they parallel what's going on with Mark at any given moment. But what I love the most about this aspect of the story is that, much like Mark, I'm not sure if what I'm looking at is ever real. In fact, I don't know if any of it is real, but I like the fact that I'm questioning it because it puts me in the same boat as the protagonist, and I love that in regards to the story being told. Anyways, that's my review, which was just all over the place, but yeah, if you couldn't tell, I love this comic, I love this story, I think it's brilliant and beautiful, and it reminds me why Jeff Lemire is one of my favorite writers of all time. But yeah, those were my thoughts, but what about you? What did you think of Jeff Lemire's Moon Knight? Did you even read Jeff Lemire's Moon Knight? Let me know down below in the comment section. Also, if you like this video, hit the like button, share, support the channel, and if you want to see more content like this, all you have to do is subscribe. I'm the Mystical Green Beanie. Thank you for watching, and as always, until next time, adios, nachos. Adios.